Good morning. One of the hardest things to do in golf is to take a golf lesson to the golf course. I didn't play much this summer. I was getting so little enjoyment out of the game with the ball running all over the place into trouble, I basically stopped playing. Should have been playing a lot because we didn't have any rain, but in fact I played very little, just enough to keep my handicap live and to keep this golf channel going. So my last round was a bit of a disaster with a card in my hand in a competition. I had the pulls. Let's see if I've fixed them or not. And if not, it's not my fault, it's the pro's fault.
I don't know about you, but I hate to see the ball go left. 30 years ago I used to play with a draw until it turned into a nasty snap hook. That's when I weakened everything off and started hitting the fade, and it made my game. That wasn't a pull. But in that competitive round I scored the grand total of 12 points on the front and 16 on the back for 28 Stableford points. Although I didn't do it all on my own, I had a little help from one of my playing partners. He dropped his club in the middle of my swing on the third because he couldn't stand still, he had to fidget, and then he dropped it on the sixth tee as well in my swing. I turned and said to him, once may well be an accident, but twice and people are going to start thinking you're doing it deliberately. He did manage to stand still after that and hold on to his golf club, but you don't really need any help when you're playing badly. So a dose of the pulls is very frightening for me. I really do not like seeing that ball go left. Well, that one isn't a pull. Now, I have watched this video in slow motion, one frame at a time, and I've figured out what I was doing wrong today. I tell you what, the camera doesn't show it, but this was so tempting to pull out the 3 hybrid and hit a big slinging slice.
Chicken.
But when you've got the pulls, you get a little bit afraid. I should be flushing this, and I just didn't. It's so much harder to commit fully to a shot when you don't know where it's going to finish. And at the moment, I haven't a clue where my ball is going to finish.
Right, talking of right, a very ugly shot to the right. But I'm happy with that. That's something I can fix. That's something I have knowledge of. It was probably my takeaway. I probably took it a bit on the inside and fanned that club face open, giving me no chance to square it up. The problem is the pull. I don't know what causes that. And when you come to your next shot, you're afraid to hit it. You don't commit to it because you're afraid of the next pull. And if you've got the pulls, where do you aim? Do I aim down the left edge of the fairway for my normal fade, or do I aim down the right side and hope that whatever fault I've got, I do it again and I actually pull it into the fairway? Well, we've got a long par 3, so we'll see if I've fixed fanning the club face open with just that thought of don't fan the damn thing open.
Well, this par 3 will find you out. If you're doing anything wrong, it's going to show up here. And I've hit this with a fade of exactly 1 yard into the heart of the green, and it's released down beyond the hole, giving me an uphill putt. Why can't I do that every time?
It's a good putt. I just needed the hole to be about another 9 inches further away.
First time out with driver, and I can tell straight away I'm not aiming quite far enough left. But that was that poor takeaway, which means I can't square the club, and away it goes. And this evening we're on a temporary winter green, so it's just a gap wedge. On the proper green I would have had to have attempted this with a sliced 7-iron. I would probably have made a bogey, but I shoved it to the right again, and this is what I'm occasionally doing with the short irons, and it's because I'm taking the club away on the inside, which means I can't square it up. I'll finish the hole for the camera, but I wouldn't normally bother with a bucket hole. These are double the diameter of a standard hole, which is what you get on winter greens. And of course the reason why we're on winter greens is the bunkers. They are refurbishing these 2 bunkers.
I'll tell you what stupid is. That competitive round where I had the pulls was 9 days ago. I haven't played golf since. I've just been to the range and I've been working on the movements that I've been given by the pro to practice. But I'm still thinking about 9 days ago. I'm reacting to something that happened 9 days ago. If I'm going to play golf good now, I need to think about right here, right now.
So in the competition I pulled it here into the trees on the left. Never found it, but then we found it as we were playing the 6th. Typical. And of course that is not a pull. That's that awful takeaway again. But I've done alright. I'm on an upslope, I've got the 4 hybrid, getting over these trees isn't an issue. If I can put 5 yards of draw on this, this will make it down to the green. Why is it that I can hit some perfect shots with the shorter clubs, but I can't with the longer clubs? And of course all that is down to timing. Timing the longer club, timing the driver is much harder. And that's why I do say that for beginner golfers, put your driver away, hit hybrids, hit fairway woods off the tee. And that goes for me too. When I'm having a bad day, the driver is the club that gives you the bad day. And another swing to the inside, so I can't square the club face. So this is going right. And sure enough it's right. It's on the dance floor, but it's not where you want to be. It's a long way from the flag for an 8-iron. Or perhaps my standards are a fraction too high. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting myself under too much pressure. It certainly isn't working out in competitions at the moment.
That's why I always say practice your 3 and 4 footers. Because ultimately, that's what makes you score. That last little bit.
154 up the hill, 6-iron. This is the correct bat if I want to get back to the flag. If I want an uphiller, then I would have used a 7-iron, but I wanted to get back there.
Now that's a pull. That felt a bit over the top. That's what I'm doing.
Of course, a little pull doesn't just go left, it goes long because you've closed the face. And you don't want to go past the flags at Lillybrook because then you're downhill. And I thought that was going to be wicked fast, and as you can quite clearly see, it's very late in the evening, there's a bit of dew on the greens, and it wasn't as fast as I thought. So the little pull is adding to my score. Had I hit it the normal length, if I'd hit it straight with a square club face, I wouldn't have been that far up the green. So that's another thing about pulls. They cost you shots. In my case, an awful lot of shots.
I think the big problem with the driver is I haven't used it much. I haven't needed to. With the 3-wood going out there as much as 300 yards, who needs a driver? And of course, when I have used it, it's got me into trouble because it's just run across the fairway and into the trees. So I've been kind of like steering it. I need to just let it go and hit the damn thing. Maybe not.
It's funny that faced with this, I have no worries. I just take the 3 hybrid, I go down the shaft, I close the face down, move the ball back in my stance, and I just punch it underneath. There's no fear over that shot. It's a shot I can play, bizarrely. That was supposed to be a little fade, and all I've done is put a tiny pull on it and missed the green left, which is not the place to be. Now, I haven't exhibited this evening the damage that I did in that competitive round. That round was awful.
Yeah, the biggest problem when you make changes is sequencing. Quite simply, you get all the movements out of sync, so you're not delivering the club head as you should. And it takes time to get into the new shape, whatever that might be. A few pulls. Fortunately not with the drive. Well, that one on 8 was a bit of a pull, wasn't it? It certainly wasn't my usual fade. I tell you what, I would give anything to hit the ball like I did from 2010 through to 2016. I really would. Back then, I didn't ever have to worry about where the ball was going. Ta-ra.
The trouble with doubt is you start doubting your equipment. So ever since drivers got longer and longer, it's obviously become much more difficult to time it and square the club face. So I'm wondering, is the shaft too long in my driver? Would I be better off with a 5-year-old driver and a shorter shaft? So much is doubt. Now this is straightforward. This is all about the setup. I don't have to worry about the 3 poplar trees here. That's easy to slip through. It's getting it height and getting some left to right on this round the tree about 30 yards in front of me. But I've played that shot a number of times. It's not that difficult. If you were a member at Lillybrook, I'm sure you would finish up there a few times and you would figure out how to play that second shot. It's not difficult. Chip down the green, a little over enthusiastic. And another bogey, but good grief. This is night and day better than the round I played 9 days ago. So perhaps the practice is helping me out. Now I've got to get back to the clubhouse, so we'll go back up the 8th. There is precisely 3 people on the golf course at the moment. Despite what the screen is showing you, it's almost pitch black.
Where was that first time round?
The camera is very good at making it look a lot lighter than it is.
So much of this game is confidence, and I've certainly lost confidence in what I'm doing, especially with the driver. But how do you carve a 3-wood off the deck round a big oak tree if you don't have confidence? That's baffling.
That was the most delicious contact I've had in a long time. So at the moment I'm going to be practicing and playing less. There's so many things to sort out before winter comes. Ta-ra!